Ready?
Yeah, ready.
Okay. Well, I don't think we need to introduce ourselves again, do we?
No, I don't think so. Hi, Josh.
Hello. Okay. So let's talk about money.
Yeah,
The world, many in the world are going through extreme tightness right now with money, fear, survival, um, lack mentality, scarcity mentality. And I want to discuss with you, should we be in that mentality? Where should we be? And what's the highest path right now in this time of crisis?
well, I mean, the first thing, Josh, right? And I think you know it, I know it, all of us that ever had experienced a scarcity of money or a lack of money, just know that it reactivates all our survival mechanism, right? So there is the two topics that I find reactivates people the most is money and sex. But money is definitely high up there, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the first thing is to just confront that this is one of the big area of life where you want to transform. You want to create a powerful relationship to money, because otherwise your life is about money, that you have not enough and that you worry about not having enough, or that you have a lot and you're worrying about keeping everything you have. I mean, I don't want my life to be about money. Money is a human construct, right? We made it up. Before money, there was what? Bartering, right? You exchange goods, and then we created money. So definitely much too small a topic to give my life to. Don't you agree?
Yeah, 100%.
But the problem is that we still do need to be responsible for money, because this is the world we live in. We that's also the paradox, is that on one hand you don't want to give your life over to money, and on the other hand you have to be responsible enough to feed your children, have a roof over your head, and pay for their education, and do whatever you need to do. So money, when you have enough money, it gives you the freedom not to think about it.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Can we go ahead?
Go ahead.
Can we have that freedom while being broke?
Well,
is feeling wealthy the same thing as being wealthy?
Well, that's a very good question, right? What is wealth? Uh-huh. What is wealth? If you think that wealth is the amount of money you have, and you don't have that figure in your bank account, then you will go into survival. What if wealth was this knowing when you have enough? And knowing that the universe is here, is like is here to fulfill on your needs. But to be able to experience how generous the universe is, you first need to remove everything that stands and stop the universe from giving you what you need.
Let's talk about those things.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there is, so it's always the same, right? There is either you survive or you are alive and free. Okay? So survival is always an answer to a threat. And when we are faced with a threat, we put barriers to protect ourselves. Those barriers stand between you or I or anybody and the abundance of the universe. Right? So the first thing, my mantra, you always reap what you sow. If right now you don't have money, enough money to not worry, you want to be the originator of that experience. You don't want to be the victim, like the sufferer, like the world is not fair, my boss didn't pay me, my parents didn't teach me. That's a sufferer kind of world.
Okay, so would you say even people who are like, the government hasn't paid me yet, is that inclusive in this current situation?
Yeah.
To be in a victim, like they haven't paid me yet. Okay.
It's very simple, Josh. Yeah. It's very logical. If you put yourself in the world of the sufferer or the victim, right? The sufferer, the one that is, at the mercy of something or someone, at that moment, whoever you say is harming you has a power.
Okay.
So logically, you do not have any power, and you never, ever, ever want to put yourself in that situation. Ever, ever.
No matter how broke you are,
No
no matter
matter
how bad
what
someone
happens,
wronged you.
no matter what situation you're dealing with, being money or anything else, a breakup, a loving breakup, whatever, you never want to put yourself in the position of the sufferer.
Okay.
You want to put yourself in the position of the originator. Now, neither one nor the other is the truth. Okay? Let's just be clear about that. It's just a question of context.
Go into that.
Say it again?
Can you go into that more?
Well, if I'm the sufferer, I put myself inside of a world where the power is outside of me and I'm at the mercy of the outside. If I put myself in a world, like a context is like a world, a space. If I put myself in the world saying, no, I'm the originator of everything, then I have full power, because if there is something I don't like about my life, I can do something about it. I'll give you an example. Will an example be easier?
Yes.
Okay, I lost my husband 5 days after I got married on honeymoon. I became the sufferer. Why me? It's not fair. I hate everybody. I was 28, right? Until somebody had that conversation with me saying, if you keep on being the sufferer and the victim of your husband's death, you will suffer for the rest of your life. You need to be the originator. You need to be at choice. Well, first I nearly strangled the person that told me that, saying, well, I didn't kill my husband. But then I understood what he meant. And what he meant was that I could always find something to put myself in a position of power, and I did very easily. It was there all the time. I married somebody that was 26 years older than me and had a heart condition, right? So I played poker. If I had wanted to put all the chance on my side, I would have married somebody my age, healthy. Okay, so no, there is no sufferer. I loved him with passion. I will redo it today anytime for the time I got to spend with him. And at that moment, the pain didn't disappear, but the suffering disappeared, right? So the moment you locate yourself in the world of the originator versus the sufferer, at that moment, you can create in language a context that gives you power, and then you can take action.
And neither is the truth, because the truth is that we are co-collaborating with nature. We're not all powerful. We're not all helpless. We're in some sort of dance with nature. Is that what you're saying? Is that?
Well, nothing is a truth on this material plane, Josh. You know, the language, by definition, is an interpretation. Whatever you say is not the truth, because it's made up. The only truth is nothing, right? It literally is nothing. And the moment you say something, that something is not the truth. It's made up. Now, there is some that are very valid and some that make total sense, but I tell you, it's not the truth. So you want to use language to create a context for yourself and your life that gives you full power.
Okay. We'll go into that other thing another day, because it's going to take us away from the money conversation. So,
all right. So let's go back to the barriers, right? To be free with money. So so move from the world of the sufferer to the world of the originator. Understanding that as an originator, and that's why I chose this very specific example, there is no make wrong, there is no blame, there is no fault, right? Remember, I didn't kill my husband. Okay, originator doesn't mean cause and effect. Okay, it means a realm, a context, a space. Okay. So then you need to look. Okay, if I don't have the amount of money that I would need to stop thinking about money and stop worrying about money and have my life be about money because I don't have enough, or I want to keep what I have, or I'm frightened to lose it, what barriers stand between me and having that? Okay. So that's where you need to do some work on yourself. So you go back through your life and, not you go to your past, probably as an adolescent, right? Normally people put their relationship with money, I don't know when you woke up to money, but between 9 and 15 or something like that, right? It varies with people. But that's when you start creating in language a relationship with money. And I just want to say, you don't go back to your past to wallow in it or blame anything, but just to be aware of the decision you made about money. Right? So when I was 16-year old, I come from a wealthy family. And when I was 16-year old, my father lost all his money. So it seems to be from one day to the next, we didn't even have money to go to the movie. Now, I didn't care much, but my parents started fighting, and they had never fought before. Mm-hmm. And I made a decision that the lack of money stopped people from being happy. So then I spent my entire life giving all my money away so that people will be happy around me. Mm-hmm. I mean, I literally gave more than half of my money away until I realized that the more I gave money to people, and the people I chose to give money to, the more unhappy they got.
Because you made them helpless?
That money had nothing to do with the level of joy and happiness. Mm-hmm. Okay? But I could be the originator of my relationship with money. I could be the originator of not contributing to others by giving money just like that. In fact, I made quite a mess mm-hmm. for them, mm-hmm. and then got free, right? So that's a work that needs to be done. Do you have anything that comes to mind when you put your relationship to money together?
Yeah. When I was 13 and my dad moved out, we went from being this we were relatively wealthy family, upper middle class family who money was never a conversation, to all of a sudden I was with my mom, who is now a single mother. My dad moved out, and all of a sudden money was the conversation of everything. Everything was about money. Do we have enough money for this, for the movies? How expensive is it? Every piece of clothing, every piece of food we bought, it was always a price. And there was probably a conversation about money every hour of the day, right? And then I think, when we've done some work on this, but I've made money mean survival, because my mom went into a space of survival and I adopted that space that she was in. Or rather, so she went into a space of survival, and she thought that if we didn't have money, we were going to die, or we were going to lose our house, or we were going to lose our
but just look at your decision, right? Your father left, right? Mm-hmm. Your parents separated. Your father was the one that created abundance in your family, and the divorce of your parents created the lack.
The divorce of my parents created, yes.
So there is something there, right, that is associated with money, with love or separation and money and fighting or lack of love.
Yes.
You see, if money is associated with love,
then it becomes everything. Then it becomes tethered to everything.
That's right, right?
Yeah.
So that's the kind of work that needs to be done until you can be totally responsible for having made up a story about money. Because as I said, money is a human construct. Money doesn't mean anything other than what we make it mean.
So what do you tell yourself now to reverse the decision you made when you were 15?
I don't reverse anything. Uh-huh. I don't touch it. I mean, I have a choice. Either I go on saying money makes people happy, and I've got to spend my entire life making money so I can give it away. So because I want people to be happy. So that doesn't work for me because I saw it didn't work. I literally saw the result of it.
Mm-hmm.
So now for me, money is money. That's all it is.
What happens when we get hit? When we get hit, you know, so circumstances around us, whether crisis or we lose money or this or that, we get hit. And then we're in that space of like, of feeling that lack, that scarcity. What do we do in that space?
All right. So once you are
Yeah.
free of your barriers and you're
Mm-hmm.
totally responsible for your relationship with money, right? And you arrive at the space where you have despair, the scarcity around money, right? Because even people that are very, very, very rich want to hold on and want to have more. And the people that say they don't have enough, they want to make more, right? So it's all scarcity. And you know, you always reap what you sow. So if you are frightened of lacking, that's what you get. So once you have cleaned up all that and you can see just money as money.
Wait, I don't think we should move past this yet then.
Okay.
No, let's not move past this. No, there's still way more to talk about in that sphere that you were about to move beyond.
Okay.
Do you agree?
Yeah, well, yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
I'm happy.
So what do you say to somebody who, look, I have a significant amount of money now. My business does well. I feel 85% of the time, 90% of the time, I feel in that space of like it's water flowing through me in and out, in and out. I'm like, okay, it doesn't do anything for me. It doesn't change anything for me, right? But what do you say to somebody who has nothing right now? They have no channels open for money to come in. All they have is potential energy inside themselves to create. What do you say to someone? How do they flip that switch and get into an abundance mindset with nothing? They have $200 in their bank account and they need to buy groceries for their family. How do we adopt this paradigm that I know is the ultimate truth when someone logistically down here is struggling, just straight up struggling?
All right, so we need to go up a bit, right, to the spiritual, right? So, again, Josh, it's very, I said it at the beginning of the call, but I want to say it again. The money is very reactivating because it deals with our physical survival. If you don't have enough to eat or if you don't have a roof over your head, then there is the survival, the physical survival will kick in, okay? Okay, so when how can I say that, right? If you see your relationship to money is a reflection of your relationship to life.
Okay.
Okay. And you align your relationship with money to your relationship with life, then money will serve what you committed to. Does that make sense?
Yeah, for me it does. I don't know if it's going to make sense for everyone else.
What did you get?
So what I get is that if we have a commitment beyond money, money will serve and feed that commitment versus having a commitment towards money, money will run away.
That's right. That's right. Money, you know, the movement in money is essential, like the movement in life, right? We've talked about it on our last call. I think that everything is movement on the material plane, even the body, nothing is stuck, everything moves all the time, right? So money needs to be in movement. It cannot be stuck and it cannot be fixed and it cannot be held on to. So once you get to the source of the meaning you give to money, you know that you will always reap what you sow, right? So when you give love, you get love. When you give respect, you get respect. When you give domination and control, you will get exactly that. Okay? So money is exactly the same, right? So there is question like, what do you use your money for? Do you use your money for what your life is about? empowering people, loving people, caring for people? Or do you use your money to buy weapons and dominate others and getting to be arrogant about being better than others, right? This is
Mhm.
the kind of thinking you have to do. But your question was, what do you do if you need to buy groceries and you don't have the money to buy it?
Well, my question more so, other than that specific instance, is I know this to be the truth and I live this truth. However, years ago when I had nothing, when I hear that truth, I'm just like, how do I grab that and integrate it into my life when logistically speaking, I have nothing? Like I have no, I have no money. How do I actually grab that and fuse it into my body? Does that make sense?
Yeah, create
Yeah.
wealth for others.
Create wealth for others. That's the answer.
Yeah.
Create
Or,
wealth for
you know, it's
others.
like if you give love, you'll have love. Create love
Yeah.
for others, you get love. Create wealth for others.
Not necessarily in financial, any sort of wealth, any abundance for someone. When you have nothing, create, what can we use the word abundance versus wealth? Because wealth, it connotates finances, right?
Yeah, but it's maybe time to relook.
Uh-huh.
It's
Okay.
wealth, you know, somebody is wealthy when they have love for me, right? And I know
Yeah.
we use wealth for money, but maybe it's time to transform that. What
Okay.
is wealth, right? My wealth is the love of my family, my friends, my students. That is my true wealth. And I know it's the same for you if you look, isn't it?
Of course. Yeah.
And this pandemic, I mean, people surely must wake up to that. What is the real wealth in our life? Love,
Yeah.
right?
So if so, go ahead. Go
So
ahead.
if you improve the quality of life in
Wow.
the world will come back to you.
Wow. So
Yeah.
someone is in that rock bottom. They have nothing. They don't have enough for groceries. The last place they should be thinking is, how do I get more money? The first place they should be thinking is, how do I make that person's life better?
Yeah. And you know, I've met very poor people, that's all they're doing. And they are just amazing. They, you know, if you look at Mother Teresa, she never had a penny to her name, right? She was maybe the wealthiest, one of the wealthiest person we knew. Look at Gandhi. He never had a penny to his name, but he generated, you know, the quality of life in the world. He generated wealth for others. So the wealth is a state of consciousness.
Yes.
With money as much as with what you're doing, right? So if you look at very rich people, they're not happy. They don't think that because they're multimillionaire or whatever, they have a freedom and have a great life. No, they might have a private jet, but if there is no integrity and they use them money for corruption, bureaucracy, greed, money laundering, terrorism, war, the price to pay is enormous.
Yeah.
That's not wealth, that's just money,
Mm-hmm.
right? But if money is aligned with your soul intention, with what your life is about, then there is this trust and this consciousness, and you flow with the universe and you listen for what wants to happen.
Mm-hmm. Like when I first started my business, I 4 years ago, I wrote a blog post and it went viral, and I started getting about 10 emails a day, and I was answering health questions for free for over a month on my with my email address, just answering health questions. And I was like, wait a minute, people, I guess this is what I should do. Like maybe I could charge for this, right? So in a way, back then I just listened, and I encourage anybody else to listen for what's coming through. What are people reaching out to you for? What pillar are you holding for the planet, for your family, for others? And I guess, would you agree that you just open up a channel for money, you know, in that situation? You say, okay, now I start charging for this.
I don't know. I don't know. Let me think, Josh, because you
Yeah.
know, I started my business I came back to the US last September, right?
Okay.
And I haven't been making much money, right? But I mean, I can wait a bit, right? But I haven't created an abundance of money yet. And on top of that, as soon as the crisis hit, I put all my online seminar for free so I could support people. But there is such an experience of wealth for me during this crisis that I don't worry about the lack of money. It is just what wants to happen. What wants to happen is that I need to talk to people and I need to support people. This is what I want to do. I'm listening
Right.
to what wants to happen. And money is not, I have enough to eat and I have a roof over my head, right? And the people I'm responsible for are taken care of. But
Well, let me just, you definitely have abundance. So you're playing it like you're broke, but that's not the case at all.
no,
Yeah.
no, no, no,
Yeah.
no, and no, I said that I'm not broke.
Yeah.
The thing I want to say is that there is a certain trust that what will happen will happen.
Mm-hmm.
That it's always, everything is always perfect.
Mm-hmm.
And there is my magic question all the time. What is there for me to learn? So for example, if in 1 year time, I'm whatever will happen to all of us or whatever, but my business doesn't work and I'm not booked for conferences or private sessions or whatever, and I complete and I stop, right? I will listen to what wanted to happen in the universe. It was obviously not what I went for.
Mm-hmm.
Do you understand what,
Yes,
like,
totally.
it's like water. It's just like, okay, I'm doing that now. I'm doing it with integrity. I'm not depending on anybody. I have a certain reserve of money that I can spend a year and a half to create my business and go for it. And if it doesn't work, it would not have been what wanted to happen. Do you see how this
Yeah.
relationship to creating money, I'm not creating a business to make money. I'm creating a business to make a difference and teach people awareness, to practice awareness.
Mm-hmm.
Money will be just a register, or, you know.
A form of energy.
Yeah, well, it's a human construct that gives you a measure, right, in the society we live in. But who knows, after this crisis, it might all alter.
Yeah.
We absolutely don't know what the future holds. I would love a world where money is not the main measure of your success, or the difference you make, or that everybody had enough to eat and a roof over their head. That would be fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
But there is one thing I know for sure. If you hold on to money, you create scarcity. Money needs to move, and it needs to be aligned with what your life is about. You need to complete whatever meaning you gave to money as you were growing up, and then create a relationship to the universe without being crazy and irresponsible, right? But create that there is an abundance waiting to happen in the universe. This is truly my experience of the universe.
Mm-hmm. Hmm.
You know, if you use money to dominate others, control others, start wars and all that, you create a really bad karma. You just don't want to do that. You don't want to get money to feel better, feel stronger, or you just literally want to align money with your relationship to the quality
Mm-hmm.
of your contribution to the world.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. This concept of allowing money to be like water, allowing it to flow to in and out.
Mm.
Can we practically talk about that? Like, how does that look? Just spending money where it needs to be spent in order to reinvest in yourself, not grabbing onto money that could come in or should come in, and just being there in the middle, letting it come when it comes and allowing it to leave.
Well,
Yeah.
you need to remember your life purpose, right? So
Mm-hmm.
my life purpose is that people remember who they really are. That's it. That is my life purpose. This is what I give my life to, is that people remember who they really are. So this is what is driving all my actions.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes it very simple, Josh, because you don't even have the kind of question you just had asked. You know, if for example, I have something difficult to say to somebody, and if I have to say it, then they won't become my student, I still will say it. Why? Because I need to be true to myself.
Right.
And that's what I need to say for them to take one step closer to remembering who they really are. But I'm not going to compromise my speaking and my stand so that I can have them as a student.
Mm-hmm.
See? So there is an integrity to the structure and to you, who you are as a person. That
Totally.
there is no compromise there. And I also have a stand that I will not give my life over to money. So that would not be my main concern. So, and you know, it has served me very, very well. I have never worked for money, but I've always had enough.
Mm-hmm.
Somehow money always came, and I never had a big salary or whatever, but the abundance has always been there,
Mm-hmm.
except once for a year where I had made another story.
Mm.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's why awareness is so essential, Josh, is that you need to be the originator of all the meaning you attach to money, and be also aware that money is a human construct that reactivates all the survival, because the world works based on money, the world as we know it now.
Mm-hmm.
So lots of compassion.
Yeah.
So and for the people that have money and are frightened to lose it with a crisis looming, right, the economic crisis looming, you remember your image of water, right? If water is stagnant, is that the right word? Yeah, stagnant. Yes. It is not good. It starts smelling and it's not good, right? So you need to let money flow, whichever way it looks, because if it's blocked, it gets toxic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I see a little bit money like my expression of my mission, right? So it carries my energy, it carries my love, it carries my commitment that people remember who they really are. It carries my desire to create a new culture for humankind. This is how I see money. So then I get to align money with my mission.
Mm.
And it's a much more delicious way to relate to
fused.
money.
Yeah. Instead of thinking about money on its own.
Yeah. Yeah. Because otherwise money on its own, it's like either a carrier of hurt or shame or lack or scarcity. Money is just a thing. I'm aligning everything with my mission in life.
When we do that, when we align everything with our mission, everything else just works. It just works. I guess that's a law of the universe, because every single time I'm in line with my mission, everything else works.
It's called being true to oneself, right? Just totally aligned.
And I've noticed that feeling abundant is equally as important as being abundant. So similar to what you were saying, which is that rich people who are more paranoid and anxious than anyone else versus the homeless surfer in Brazil who is so happy with every day his can of beans and his, coconuts, and he's thrilled and living in abundance, right? Or internally for me, when I feel abundant, it's like, oh my God, I have so much to offer the planet. I have so much to give, so much to offer. Somehow money just comes in when you're in that space. It's like money will just find itself to you.
Well,
You're a
you will
magnet
have
for it.
enough to do what you want to
What
do.
exactly?
That's the thing. You will have
Yeah.
enough to accomplish your mission.
Yes, exactly. The universe gives you exactly how much you need or a little more to accomplish the thing that you're setting out to accomplish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I hope that this global pandemic will have us, because I am learning a lot in elevating my relationship with money, right? Which I just love that we're talking authentically about it. I see a lot of excess in my life. A lot of excess. Like, I live in a small flat because I understood long ago that I didn't need a big house or whatever. I mean, I don't need it. I travel a lot, but there is a lot of excess that is not needed, and I like that. I like that I am getting to the level where many things are so not important anymore, but at a whole new level, and I'm actually enjoying it. It's a total freedom from things, because materially, right, our culture, we think we need so many things, from cream to shoes to clothes to cars to, I mean, really, nobody has been shopping for 3 weeks. How good does it feel? I'm enjoying it so much. I'm letting go of a lot of attachments that I didn't see I had.
Minimalism.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. But wealth shows up in the action of fulfilling on your mission, sharing and giving, right? Give and you shall receive.
There's a question here.
Yeah.
What if we're still searching for our mission? How do we come into alignment?
All right. That is the most important, before money, before anything else. I love that question. Somebody asked that question on the call?
Yes.
That is why we're doing those calls. This is why the work of awareness and self-inquiry is so important. You really don't want to live your life without creating a mission for yourself. You know, the delight of waking up in the morning and not having any question, like, what is my life about? What am I doing today? I never have those questions. And it's delicious because your mind is free. So do the work you need to do. And it's always inside, by distinguishing all your barriers, all your fears, all your opinions, all your decisions, your ego. That is called your ego, your identifications. And once you have distinguished those identifications, you then are faced with a choice: identification and suffering, or liberation.
Does that answer your question, anonymous attendee? It's showing up as anonymous attendee. Let me also look at the live to see if we have any comments. We're depriving the live of any attention.
Yeah, while you look, right, I just want to say that if you have an unhealthy relationship with money, your experience of being alive will be impacted. You will feel suppressed and tight and trapped. So it matters, your relationship with money. It matters that you have enough so that you don't have to worry. It matters that you do the work we're doing on this call. Do you have another question?
Me?
No, on the
Oh.
call.
No, there's just a few comments on the live, but no questions right now. But I have something I want to bring up. So do you think it's possible to live your truth and live your purpose and your mission and have copious amounts of wealth surrounding you everywhere you go, be radically abundant and have way more than you need and just be a magnet for wealth without even thinking about it?
Well, I think so. Like, I think like people, like, I mean, we all know people like Deepak Chopra, Eckhart Tolle, or, you know, I'm sure they've made a lot of money selling all their books and doing all their seminars, and they must have an abundance of money, but they also must have a very free relationship with money.
Right, where it means nothing.
Well, it means nothing, right? And I'm sure they don't hold on to it either. You know, it's like if you look at Bill Gates, right? Bill Gates got it. He might not have gotten it at the beginning of his life, but he didn't do what Steve Jobs did. He now has this mega foundation where he has his money flow. So I'm so happy he's so rich. I am so happy.
Are you? I don't like him at all.
Well, I'm just happy. You know, I'm from Africa. I have a lot of connection in Africa, and what he does there is absolutely unbelievable. So yay that he made all this money. Marvelous.
So to be selfish at one point in order to be selfless later. What do you think about that mentality that people have?
That cannot work for me. You know, there is karma in there, right? If you go after money, you might make some and wake up one day, but there will be a cost, I think. And those years, you know, I see it in my nephews and nieces, right? One of them just got his first job. He's a very young man, and he doesn't like it. And he tells me, I'm not willing to sell my soul to have a salary. And he's like 22. I say, good for you. Good for you. You see, if money is not the priority of our life, but our mission and who we are for the world is, you will have thoughts like that. But if money keeps on being, you know, like, I mean, we all heard it in the United States, right? We've heard people say, we cannot stop the economy, so let's sacrifice 2% of the US population. Well, I mean, I nearly jumped out of my window. That is when money is a priority.
Right.
Do you want to live in a world like that? I certainly do not want my life to be that way. And you know what I used to do when I had this year where I was in scarcity about money? To manage my mind, I used to say, okay, I'll have enough money to get a plane ticket to a warm island, and I'll just finish my life on the beach. I mean, hey, there is worse, right? You know, what?
You'd be bored silly, though.
You know, when you have to be, when you're anxious about money, right? And we always talk about anxiety and fear. Anxiety is projecting in the future and worrying about what might happen. You need to use your intellect. You all have family, you all have friends. I mean, if you were bankrupt tomorrow and didn't have a penny, you probably could go back to your parents, right? I could go to
Not my parents. I have friends that would help me out.
I get friends, or I could go to my sister. I could go to many friends, right? I wouldn't be left dying of hunger. Right. So just to let go of the anxiety that you might have about money, just use your intellect and confront it. Confront your anxiety.
So it reminds me of my first year and 2 years of business. I was in this reactionary thing where I was always, everything I did in my business was, okay, how to make money, right? That was my number one thing. And it was also reactionary to the fact that I was fearful of my survival and I was anxious. Okay, just like these things that you're talking about. And I noticed that no creative flow can come from that space. Like I couldn't truly create masterpieces with my videos or my writings because it was coming from the space of how can this convert to dollars?
Well,
right?
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Versus now, the space that I'm in is, how can this help humanity? And it always ends up converting to dollars. I don't even look at that piece 90% of the time. I don't even look at it. And then it's just like, it's converting to dollars. It's converting to dollars. It just is, because the artwork is there. It's like being an artist first or an entrepreneur first,
Yeah, but
Yeah.
everything works as long as you do the work that is needed. I have a friend that was in dire financial problem. So we made a deal. She got a job so that she could pay her rent. Literally, that was it. And I said to her, I said, you've got to work with a lot of integrity because your heart is not in that job. So what you're going to give those people is full integrity and work impeccably for them. And in the meantime, we worked on her relationship with money. And it took her, I think, 3 months. 3 months, and she got the job of her dream. But literally the job of her dream, where she self-expressed, it is everything she wanted, because she did it with total integrity. So if you need to go and work to pay the rent, it doesn't work to sit at home saying, I hope money is going to fall from the sky. Not in our culture. That doesn't work. Mm-hmm. Right? So if you need to go and get a job to pay your rent, you need to go and do that while doing the work on yourself to free yourself from having to do that for too long.
To find your mission, to find your purpose.
There is a responsibility to have, right? So for example, somebody is working in finance on Wall Street or whatever, doesn't like it and decide to be a coach, of a life coach or whatever. But if there is no integrity in it, if that person is not trained as a life coach, if that person just calls themselves a life coach but doesn't have the training, the experience, you see, it's got to have integrity in the structures all the time. The universe is in impeccable integrity. You reap what you sow. Give and you shall receive. That's the law. You cannot mess with the law, right? It's like gravity. If you mess with gravity, you end up on your butt. And gravity never answers to complain about it not being fair. Right? So there is, in the physicalness of the world, the respect and the reverence of the law of the universe, and using not our automatic mind to survive, but our conscious mind to create integrity and structure that will work. But with that, we need awareness. Otherwise, we are sucked in the culture, right? It's like we become unconscious. We don't question things. It takes courage to question one's relationship with money in our world, because the silent power of money in our culture is on all of us.
Incredibly powerful.
It uses all of us. Yes, yes, enormous. You know, so I was talking to a doctor today who was saying that Bill Gates, which you don't seem to respect very much, but Bill Gates predicted the health crisis in 2015. But listening to him would have implied spending money for something that wasn't making money, wasn't certain, right? And that would have meant that your priority was the health of the people, not economical. So we didn't do anything. Right? That this is the power of money in our culture. So when you question it, and again, I hope this crisis will allow us to do it, when we all question it, all of us, and say, no, I do not want my life to be about that. When we'll be a group big enough, you know, something will happen. I have no doubt. I tell you, I really have no doubt that we can do it. If we don't compromise ourselves, we do not hurt each other, we stop our cynicism, our rationalization, our justification about the economy is important. if we stop complaining about it and just really have the authenticity and the courage to look, being for each other, it is what matters.
Mm. It's beautiful.
What are you getting? You look like you're very calm.
Yeah, I am calm. I'm getting I had something come through. Give me a second. I lost it.
Okay, well, let
Yeah.
me tell you, you know, like for everybody on the call and for you, Josh, right? I have people around me that are very, very scared about not having enough money. They have enough, but they're frightened to lose it,
Mm-hmm.
right? If you look at those people, I have especially one person in mind, the fear that permeates through her entire life is totally a reflection of who she is in her relationship to people. Meaning the scarcity that shows up around money is the scarcity of love in her relationship with people.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we go back to what we say, money can align with your life mission or value. Or...
Mm. Feels pretty complete.
It does. I think we're done. Do you want to, raised hand. Look, Jonathan Barron is raised hand. Shall I look at him?
Yeah. There's two people who have raised hands. You can call on them and they can speak through.
Oh, okay. You can't do that?
I don't think I'm a host.
Okay. What
Oh,
if
you did
we are,
make me a
oh,
host.
no. Yeah, I did make you a host.
Okay, Jonathan, do you want to type your question? I don't know how we can get you to chat here, and Zinarta as well. We can try and get you to come on
Okay, I've
live.
got it on chat. Jonathan, exactly how I live my life, true to oneself and being who your true self to be. Okay.
No, that was just a comment that he made.
Oh, that was just a comment. Yeah.
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 So we'll give you time to type, Jonathan and Zinarta, if you have a question, and I'll look at the live again.
And you know, Josh, when somebody has a lot of money and or some money, the way to make money move, you know, I was thinking about, we talked about money needs to move, is to invest in the world the way we envision it.
To be it, right?
No, where you put your money is what will forward your vision.
Okay. I love it.
Like, for example, if I suddenly have an enormous amount of money, I will create centers of education for children to educate them in awareness, right? It will forward my vision. Do you see?
Yeah.
You will create extraordinary health center.
Yeah, exactly.
Everybody will drink your juices
yeah,
and
do coffee
detox
enemas.
forever.
Yeah. Yeah. So Jonathan said that he's so great to see you. You were his first landmark forum leader.
Right.
That's awesome.
Right. Hi, Jonathan. It's great to have you. All right, Josh, I think we covered everything about money, right?
I think so. Yeah, let me sit with myself for 30 seconds before
I just want to say, if the future it might be bleak, right? I hope I'm wrong for everybody on the call. The future, you know, after the health crisis, there might be an economic crisis. Again, this is where your relationship to the universe, to the divine, to consciousness, to whatever you want to call it, or to yourself, capital S, will make the whole difference. It's not in your thoughts. You do not want to believe your thoughts. Your thoughts are automatic. They have you, right? This is not who you are. So your connection to the divine, to consciousness will make the entire difference in what the future is that is coming, that we don't know. Okay, we don't know, but
yeah,
this is what I will invite everybody to do.
My mom commented on the Facebook Live. She said that our next call should be about um, mission. She said the next call should be about finding our life mission.
All right.
So maybe we'll
All
do
right.
that.
I
I
like
love you, Mom.
mother.
Thank you, Mom.
Hello, mother of Josh.
She loves you. She already texted me that she loves you.
Okay,
She
I'm a
watches
good
you now.
influence on your son, but you did a very good job. All right, Josh, let's not
Okay.
let people, oh, look at that. Prosperity is mine. Stability and opportunity, I choose both. That's from Sinatra. Isn't that great? That's a quote that came across as she was listening. Thank you, Divine Sophie. I want you to listen, Josh. I'm called Divine Sophie. So love seeing you. What are your daily practices to stay in abundance versus scarcity conversation? Oh, that's a very good question. Okay, we'll finish with that, right?
Okay, good.
So it's not even my daily practices, it's moment by moment by moment. I recognize the space of scarcity as I become rigid, and I have a lot of fear in the space of scarcity. And I recognize my body sensation. And why I talk about my body sensation? Because sometimes I'm not present to my thoughts, thoughts happen, but I'm present to my body. So when I find myself getting rigid, or I have the experience of fear, like this knot in my stomach, I stop straight away and I examine my thought. And every single time that happens, fortunately, doesn't happen too often, but when it happens, like on Saturday, Josh, when I talk to you, right? Then I see a thought. I see a thought of anxiety of what might happen in the future based on what happened to me in the past. You know, and I am now trained enough to know that the past and the future are both illusions. They don't exist. There is not a place called the past or a place called the future we'll ever get to. There is only right now. And the moment I'm back in right now, I am present again. So that's my practice. Moment by moment by moment. It is, you know, I have created a habit of it. And that's what is needed in the search, in the practice of awareness, creating new habit of being present.
Totally. It's very similar to, I would have a very similar answer. For me, I watch, it's all about my body sensations. I watch as I get very, very tight when I'm grabbing onto some sort of outcome. Like I need to get this client versus what's the truth of the situation. So I'll be talking to a prospective client, and one part of me is like, how can I say the right thing in order to get this person as a client? And then the other part of me comes in, it's like, wait a minute. Nope. You choose truth. You choose truth. You choose your mission, and you say whatever needs to be said for that person to get their next up leveling in their journey. And if they hate you or they think you're silly or stupid or crazy, so be it. Okay. Next client, like water, right? What's next? What's next? And then I also watch as I'm writing emails or I'm doing, sending out newsletters or making YouTube videos. Where's my consciousness in what's my agenda right now? Is in this very call, is my agenda to get someone to sign up with me for coaching, to have me as a client, to this, to that? No, it's a pure space of giving. And then when I do that, I know I'm in alignment with abundance. It's like I prove to myself that I'm in alignment with abundance with my very actions, regardless of what the mind wants to do. Does that make sense?
It does.
Like
It does. Just making me smile because you have so much masculine in you. Like, it's, yeah, I do that and I do that.
I'll try and be more feminine.
No.
Yeah.
We need the masculine and the feminine. Oh, that's
Yeah.
another call we could do on the masculine and the feminine.
Okay.
That would be great.
I'd like to do that.
All right, everybody.
Okay.
I love spending time with all of you. Josh, I always love spending time with you. This time we got the hour right.
Yes, we got the hour right.
Yeah.
It'll be 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern time. We'll do this for another couple of weeks, months. Who knows? We'll see.
Well, who knows, right? Let's see how long we are all confined and dealing with stuff. Okay, everybody. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Ciao, ciao.